Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you this full coverage base, ideal for oily skin. Although the base is full coverage, it is still very natural looking and the eyes are super simple. I'm going to start by prepping the skin with this Matte Attack Primer by LH Cosmetics. For those of you that love clean beauty, this is cruelty free and it's vegan. It's quite unusual, this primer. It comes out like a thick balm, but it instantly melts onto the skin. And when I say a little goes a long way, it really does. I had way too much on my hands. And you can see here when I put it onto my forehead how it instantly mattifies. You can apply this underneath your makeup, but you can also apply it on top of your makeup. So if you're very gentle with it, you can mattify the face after you've applied your makeup. If you're wondering why my eyes are so red, just before I started filming, I touched my eye and really irritated it. But I do have a tutorial on how to remove redness from the eyes, so I'll link it on screen for you. So this is the new Clinique Even Better Clinical Serum Foundation. This is a full coverage foundation in a matte satin finish. It's geared towards combination oily and oily skin types. If you are dry, you most definitely will not like this foundation. You can definitely sheer it down with your fingers to more of a medium coverage. I had slightly dry skin when I was applying this because of the retinols that I was on, and to be honest with you, the first two times I've tried it, I didn't like how it sat on the skin. However, from a distance, I really liked the coverage that it gave, and also it lasted so well. I'm definitely going to give it another go now that I'm currently off of the retinol and on tretinoin, so before my skin starts to peel again, I'm definitely going to try it to see if I like it a little bit more. So I'll definitely update you once I've given it another go. I believe there are 42 shades available in this foundation, so a huge variety for everybody. There's different undertones. The shade that they sent me was number 13, which is a cool neutral shade. If you've watched my previous tutorials using Clinique foundations, you know I've always kind of struggled to nail getting the colour just from ordering online, and this was a pretty good match. If you are on the hunt for a concealer that really doesn't enhance your fine lines and gives you a nice natural finish no matter your age, this is a great one. It combines skincare benefits. It's also light reflecting, so if you have darker circles or you've been tired and you want a brightening effect to the eyes, it's a really lovely one because it's got light scattering properties. I'm not entirely sure how many shades there are, but from what I can see online, I can definitely see 22 shades, and it goes from very fair to very deep. Now, although this base is kind of geared towards more oily skin types, we've got the matte primer and we've got satin matte foundation. This is more of a dewy concealer. I think when we think of dewy, we expect it to be movable and then it's got some slip to it, but that's not the case. It's just kind of got that light reflective particles for brightening purposes. I think it's important not to go too matte under the eyes. You don't want the eyes to look dry or aged, so this one is great for all skin types. I'm going to set around the eyes because we're not applying any foundation. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder just to mattify the eyes and to keep everything in place. Next week I have a little hack for you on how to prevent creasing under the eyes. It's just about changing up your powder and it's a real game changer, so make sure you've got your notifications on so you don't miss that. As always, I'm using my faithful Urban Decay Brow Blade. You know I love this one, and if you have missed the tutorial on it, which I've shared a million times, I'm going to link it on screen for you. You can see why I love it because it really does look very natural. It just mimics hairs and it gives you the most beautifully filled in brows without looking blocky or full on. Here you can see the foundation up close. Now I feel like it looks a little bit better because it's in studio lighting, but you can see it sitting on top of the skin as opposed to it being one with the skin. So for the eye makeup, we're keeping it super simple. For me, one of the most important steps is to tight line the eye to get rid of the pinky tones. It's such a great way to make the lash line look fuller without having to wear eyeliner on your top lid. So if you have small lids, you're still making the most of your lid space without losing some of that space due to the eyeliner. I'm using the Megaliner by Wet n Wild. For mascara today, I'm using the High Impact Zero Gravity Mascara by Clinique. What I love about this is it's a tubing mascara, so it comes off with water. There is no mess, you don't get any panda eyes. So if you have oily eyelids, you do not have to worry with this mascara because it doesn't go anywhere. Although I'm going to be applying some false eyelashes, I do like to apply a layer of mascara first because the bonding glue I feel like is quite strong and I don't like it on my natural lashes because I find it quite hard to remove, and I'm not such a fan of the glue removers. I find that they make my eyes a little bit blurry. So this is my little hack in terms of being able to easily remove the lashes and the bonding glue. I've tried a variety of these under lashes before. My favourite are these ones by LashBase. These are the PROEffects Plus. And I'm going to show you all the different styles they have available, and they come in different lengths for each style. They start at extra small and go all the way up to extra large. Many of the other brands such as Lashify and Mascara, they come in individual sections, whereas these PROEffects Plus come on a ready to cut strip, so if you want them slightly larger you can do, if you want them slightly smaller you can do. The Mascara ones are great, but they are a little bit less comfortable. They also make my eyes itch, whereas this band, as you can see, is tiny. It's so thin, and the Lashify ones are ridiculously expensive. Like, I wouldn't even contemplate buying them. These lash-based ones are so affordable, and they're the most comfortable ones, and they're available in a great range of styles. LashBase do a bond glue, but I can't find mine anywhere, so I'm just using the Mascara one for today. And the style I'm using today is Light Glam, and I'm placing these underneath my natural lash line. So the bond glue goes on to the mascara underneath my natural lashes, which you brush on as you would a mascara. And then you cut your individual sections. You can make them slightly longer or smaller, it just depends on what style you want to achieve. Then using the tweezers, you place them underneath your natural lash line at the root. You can blink onto them if it's easier, or you can just set them at the root and then pull them upwards, and they will catch the glue and they will attach to your natural lashes. Where these are so lightweight and the band is so thin, you can build these up, so you can layer them. You can also mix the styles. So I'm applying a few more on the middle and the outer edge. I've applied medium on the inner corners and the very outer edge, and then I've got large in the centre. And now I'm just using an old dry mascara brush to comb them through. It's obviously not necessary to do this, it's just I like to kind of style my natural lashes with these because I have got mascara on as a base. But obviously if you don't apply any mascara, these look much more fluffier rather than the mascara vibe that I'm going for. If you want to try LashBase for yourself, they do ship within the UK, they're now shipped within the US, and you are of course welcome to use my discount code, which will get you 10% off. I will link that in the description bar for you. The code is different from the UK and the US, so make sure you click the right link and also use the right code. Here you can see that once I've applied the eyelash, I blink onto the very tip of the tweezer. And the reason I do this is to press the base of that eyelash into the root of my natural lash. It just helps to secure it in place. If you missed last week's tutorial on Amy, go and check it out, because in that video I used the spiky PROEffects lashes. So if you want to see what they look like, you can go check it out in that tutorial. I love this mascara look. It's just something that I really like, but if you want them to be more fluffy and soft, just don't apply any mascara. For contour today, I'm going to use this product by Made by Mitchell in the shade Hollow There. This is a gorgeous cool toned contour, and it's in a creamy liquid that you can apply with a very small doe foot applicator. So this is going into the hollows of the cheeks and also the temple area. You can blend this out with a sponge, you can use your fingers, you can use a brush, it's completely up to you. As you can see, it's so nice and lightweight and it blends like a dream. What I would say is if you've got very dry skin, I don't think you will like this particular formula, because I do feel like once it's blended, it dries down to a matte finish and it would grab onto any dry flaky skin. However, if you are using quite a luminous creamy base, this would blend beautifully. It's just if you've got any flaky dry skin, try to avoid it. It's definitely one of my favourite contour products for the colour, because not many are this cool toned. It really does mimic a shadow. There are also warmer tones like this one, which is called Caramel Chisel, and you can use this as a bronzer. In hindsight, I would have applied this to the back of my hand and used a brush to stipple it onto the skin. Instead, I used the sponge from my hand, and I felt like it applied it quite patchy. There's not a lot of working time with this, in my opinion. This is a liquid to powder formula. Mitchell specifically made it like this because a lot of the blushes that contain too much emolliency tend to break down the base, but I prefer that kind of consistency for blending. With that being said, it has got longevity, so you can't kind of have everything in one formula. I do really like it. I just think you have to pair it with the right base makeup. You can see as I'm working it in, I've got a very nice natural finish to the skin. It's a soft sun-kissed tone. The skin looks sculpted but in a very natural way. I'm mixing together two of the Made by Mitchell blush tones in Melon Sorbet and Peach Sugar. And I'm working that off the back of my hand with the sponge, and I'm very softly putting that on the apple of the cheek, pulling the colour backwards to meet the bronzer. Much like the bronzer shades, these are a matte finish. Again, if you are oily, this is great because it really will keep everything in place for as long as possible. When you are working with base makeup that sets in place and is a matte finish, make sure that you're always using a stipple or bouncing technique. That way you won't disturb the base makeup. I've mixed a little bit of that blush with a little bit of the Nude Sticks lip balm, and I'm putting that onto my lips. Using a very small brush, I'm buffing a tiny amount of the foundation off the back of my hand between the blusher and the skin to make sure it's nice and seamless. I didn't use any powder in this area, so I can apply the foundation without it looking cakey. Under the eyes I just use what's left on the bristles, but I'm not applying much product at all. To set everything in place, I'm using this new setting spray by LH Cosmetics. Excuse the arm, I fell down the stairs, right on top of the wedding as well. So this spray is used to obviously set your skin, but you can also use it as a primer before your makeup. You can also use it with wet and dry eyeshadows if you want more intensity. Being as I want to keep this super natural, I'm not going to apply any highlighter. This is the finished result. I really like it. It's great for oily skin. It's full coverage, but it's still super natural. So I hope you really like it. All the products I've used will be listed and linked in the description bar. Don't forget to come follow me outside of YouTube over on Instagram, and I will see you next week. Bye guys.